What happens when an American icon stops pretending to be a muscle car and decides to invade enemy territory? The 2025 Mustang GTD isn't just the most expensive Mustang ever made, it's a full-blown threat aimed straight at Europe's sacred supercar temples. A $300,000 street-legal missile built not for comfort, not for cruising, but for humiliation. Ford didn't design this car to be liked, it designed it to be feared. And long before it hits the streets, the GTD is already making brands like Porsche, Lamborghini, and McLaren uncomfortable. This video takes you inside the real reason Ford created a Mustang with a price tag bigger than a house, how it ended up being engineered like a Le Mans prototype, and why the Mustang GTD may become the most disruptive American performance car of the decade. Because behind every panel, bolt, and aeroblade, one idea keeps echoing across the industry. This thing wasn't made to compete, it was made to kill. The story doesn't begin with the price, it begins with a challenge. Supercars are evolving faster than ever. Porsche keeps rewriting physics with the GT3 RS. Lamborghini pumps out track weapons like the STO. McLaren lives in a world where normal means 750 horsepower and carbon fiber everything. Ford could have stayed in the muscle car lane, but that wasn't enough. Ford wanted to storm the gates of Europe, and it wanted to do it with a Mustang. That's where the name GTD comes in. Borrowed from the IMSA racing class where the Mustang GT3 competes, GTD isn't just a badge, it's a warning. This road car shares DNA with a real race car that fights at Daytona and Le Mans. Not vaguely inspired, not aesthetically similar, the GTD project started with the same engineers who build Ford's competition cars, the type of people who think street legal is just another problem to solve. Under the hood sits the soul of the beast, a supercharged 5.2-litre V8 targeting around 800 horsepower. No turbos, no hybrid assist, no electric boost, just a violent mechanical scream pushing past 7,500 RPM. The kind of engine that belongs in a race garage, not a dealership. But here's the part that makes everything different. The Mustang GTD isn't built to behave like a traditional Mustang. It doesn't even keep the Mustang layout. Most Mustangs store luggage in the trunk. The GTD buries race technology in there instead. The back of the car is stuffed with hydraulics for a pushrod rear suspension, a layout normally found on million-dollar race cars. This system allows the GTD to drop lower at speed, stiffen its body, and carve through corners like something with an entirely different lineage. Ford didn't want this car to be quick, it wanted it to be unshakable. But with all this race-grade hardware, one question gets louder. Why does this Mustang cost nearly $300,000? Because Ford didn't really build this Mustang. Multimatic did, the same company that built the Ford GT Supercar, a machine that won Le Mans after humiliating Europe on its own soil. Multimatic doesn't mass-produce anything, they craft, they assemble by hand. Their work shows up in championship-winning race machines, not commuter cars. That's why the GTD's suspension, aero, carbon body, and magnesium wheels all carry that race shop DNA. That's why this car feels more like a limited-run hypercar than a muscle car from Michigan. Ford wasn't chasing volume, it was chasing legacy. So what does this monster actually drive like? Imagine a Mustang with the knife-edge precision of a 911 GT3 RS. Imagine the roar of a NASCAR engine translated into road-legal chaos. Imagine a dual-clutch gearbox mounted at the rear, shifting faster than thought. For the first time, a production Mustang has balance, real balance. With the heavy transmission in the back and aggressive aero pushing the nose down, the GTD feels closer to a mid-engine exotic than anything wearing a pony badge. Ford is targeting a Nürburgring lap time in the 6-minute range, a number reserved for monsters. That alone puts the GTD in conversations Mustang fans never dreamed possible. The suspension, the aero, the brakes, the power. Everything was designed with one sentence carved into the engineering notes: fastest Mustang ever built, by far. But here's the interesting twist. Why build a combustion-powered track weapon in a world moving towards quiet EVs and digital luxuries? Because Ford wanted to prove a point that American engineering isn't done, that combustion engines still have one more chapter left, that the spirit of racing can still shape road cars in ways no electric motor ever will, that a Mustang can exist at the same table as Europe's elite, not as a guest, but as a challenger. Some say the GTD is a flex, some call it a farewell letter to big, loud engines. Others believe Ford wanted something intimidating enough to stare down the Corvette Z06 and ZR1. But the truth is simpler. Ford wanted a halo car, something to raise the Mustang name into myth. And nothing does that like a Mustang that costs 6 figures and drives like it escaped from a racetrack. Just look at the specs. Carbon fiber from nose to tail, aero so extreme it needs vents just to survive, a cabin rebuilt around race seats and screens, a rear wing big enough to cast a shadow, 0 to 60 in the low 3-second range, nearly 200 miles per hour on the high end. But raw numbers can't explain its presence. The GTD feels like a dare, a test to see how much insanity a street car can legally have. And yet, the GTD has a flaw. Not a performance flaw, a scarcity flaw. Ford won't build many. Buyers must apply, not simply pay. Ford will turn away people who want to flip it. They want real drivers, track junkies, people who will actually push the GTD hard enough to discover what Ford built. If this were just a profit play, Ford would flood the market. Instead, the GTD is rare, selective, almost mythical, a Mustang you have to earn. And behind all the carbon, all the horsepower, all the engineering fireworks, there is a deeper truth. The GTD represents a moment, the last stand of high-octane performance before silence takes over, a final reminder that combustion still has fire left, a warning shot to European automakers who think they own the racetrack, and a victory lap for the Mustang legacy. At first, people assumed the GTD was marketing hype, a cool idea, not a real threat. But when Ford's engineers spoke, the message became undeniable. They didn't build this car to make news. They built it to make lap times disappear. So did Ford build a supercar killer? No, Ford built something even more dangerous, a supercar hunter wearing a Mustang badge, the kind of machine that shows up at a track day and quietly terrifies everything around it, the kind of machine that doesn't ask for respect, it takes it. Because when the light hits green and the GTD launches, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. America didn't just build a Mustang, it built a weapon. If this breakdown hit the spot, drop a like so more car fans find it. Hit subscribe for more high-performance deep dives, and share this with anyone who thinks European supercars are untouchable, because Ford has something to say about that.